Okay, so we are going to start with three types of muscle fibers. Okay, so three types of muscles. Okay, so this is going to be muscle tissue throughout the body. So you've got cardiac tissue, okay, cardiac muscle, you've got smooth muscle, and then you've got skeletal muscle. Now, with that, each of these have different characteristics, they have different locations, things like that. So one of the things I want you to know is that cardiac muscle is found in the heart. Smooth muscle will be found in the internal organs, okay? The digestive tract, different places like that. And then the skeletal muscle, okay, is going to be what moves the bones, okay? So that's what's connected to the bones, and it helps move the body. In terms of location, okay, that's where those are. One other characteristic I want to kind of point out is that the cardiac muscle and the smooth muscle are involuntary. The skeletal muscle is voluntary, okay, meaning that you control when it moves and when it doesn't. Now, we're going to focus in on this video specifically on the skeletal muscle. Okay, so just to kind of orient ourselves around that, we've got a bone, we've got a tendon, and then you have the entire muscle. So I'm going to block off these different sections. So you've got that, you've got this, and that. Now, as we look at this, okay, I want us to start noticing that each part is not only labeled and has a specific name, but also directly relates back to the muscle contraction that we've been discussing. So this main part right there is going to be just called the muscle or the muscle belly, okay? The main part of the muscle. And then as we go in, we're basically taking the muscle and breaking it apart into smaller and smaller pieces. So this next part here is going to be what's called a fascicle. Then the part above that over here is going to be called the muscle fiber. Okay. Then the part here is going to be called the myofibril. And then the farthest down in, we'll do the sarcomeres. Okay. And just to have the term, sarcomeres are made of what's called myofilaments. Okay. And those, for the sake of this conversation, are actin and myosin. Okay, so as we're looking at this, if we went backwards, the actin and myosin are collectively called myofilaments. Myofilaments are part of what makes up sarcomeres. If you have a collection of sarcomeres, it makes a myofibril. If you have a collection of myofibrils, it makes a muscle fiber. A collection of muscle fibers makes a fascicle. A collection of fascicles makes a muscle, okay, or muscle belly, the collection of muscle. So as we're looking at this, okay, there's a couple other things I want to point out. So now we're going to look at the connective tissue that surrounds each of those layers. Okay, so now we are looking specifically at this layer that surrounds the outside. Okay, so this is called the epimysium. Then as you get into this part here, that is called the paramycium. And as you get further into this, that is called the endomycium. Okay, so those are all connective tissues that serve to connect each part of this to the preceding part, meaning that the epimycium is what connects the tendon, okay, or connects to the tendon, and then the tendon connects to the bone. The paramycium surrounds the fascicle, and it connects itself back to the larger muscle, okay, back in this area right here. The endomycium surrounds the muscle fiber and connects it back to the fascicle, so then the fascicle can be connected back to the main muscle. Muscle connects to the tendon, tendon to the bone, and that's how it starts to move. Okay. Now, one thing we have also talked about is underneath the endomycium, okay, is what's called the sarcolemma. Okay. This is incredibly important. The sarcolemma is underneath the endomycium, okay, and it surrounds the muscle fiber, okay. When we get into the nerve and how the nerve communicates with the muscle, the nerve is going to come in from the spinal cord, okay. It's going to go essentially like this into the muscle, okay, until it gets to the sarcolemma. When it gets to the sarcolemma, okay, so let's just say I draw the sarcolemma down here, okay, so this is the sarcolemma. So this is the edge of it. The nerve is going to come from the spinal cord down, okay, and it's going to get almost to the sarcolemma, and that's where we're going to see the nerve tell the muscle what to do. Okay, so just to recap, the epimycium, paramycium, and endomycium, those are connective tissues. Okay, the sarcolemma is a membrane that surrounds the muscle fiber, and that is where the nerve will communicate with the muscle fiber to cause the muscle contraction.